Welcome to Between Over and Next with your hosts, Holli and Robert, a happily married couple who explore the space between what was, what is, and what's to come. From career changes to navigating life's uncertainties, this dynamic duo will empower you to live your happiest life at every age and stage. So, get ready because your journey with Holli and Robert starts now.
Welcome to Between Over and Next, the podcast where we explore the space between what was, what is, and what's to come. We're your hosts. I'm Robert Allen.
I'm Holli Early.
And this is episode 2, and we're entitling this Our Story, meaning my story and Holli's story, individually and collectively. And then we're going to make some stuff up too.
I'm going to tell you more about us, the things we like, the things we've accomplished, because we have built something in the boardroom and the bedroom. And we each bring something special to our life and business.
Well, I bring all my special comes in the bedroom.
And my expertise is in the boardroom. So there you go. We're a perfect
it's
match.
Board as in board, like executive board, not board as in is in like yawn.
By the way, you know that word isn't even part of my vocabulary, Robert. Okay.
I understand.
So listen, everybody, if you're in the midst of a big life transition or simply looking to explore new ideas and perspectives, our hopes are that this podcast will be a source of inspiration and insight to experience a more fulfilling life.
And have some laughs.
Always. Always. So when speaking to people in their 40s and beyond, many tell us that if they could do their career over again, they would have taken more risks, settled less, and spoken up more often.
Risky things.
Risky things. So that means going for a certain opportunity that you're not sure you're worthy of or capable of.
Not necessarily dangerous things, but
not
risky.
necessarily. Well, you know what? Starting a new business can be scary, honey.
Well,
and fear. There's a lot of fear out there.
I think there's a lot of, I think people spend a lot of time being afraid, I think, and it, definitely holds lots of people back. And I think when you peel it back and you look at what people are fearing, afraid of, there's really nothing there. That, they're, as it, said many times, there's nothing to be afraid of. And when you break it down and you look at it, there really isn't. So in so many cases, it's just a matter of taking that first step.
Well, first of all, Springsteen said it on, what were we watching? Was that also on Sunday morning? So he said something that really kind of struck a chord with me, because through his songs and storytelling, he kind of said his lyrics or his connection to the music he creates is making sense of the world we were born into.
Right, because that is, much like the weather, there you don't have control over who your parents are. You have zero control.
Or where you live.
Right. Your circumstances in which you're born into.
Right. So you don't choose that.
No.
And once you become aware of that, that's where that space between over and next can happen, because that's where you make all of those decisions where we can actually do better and be better, which is always what I strive for. So I believe that our experience, individually and collectively, has come from the work we've done, the lessons we've learned, and the friends we've made along the way. And those people really matter. They've helped us become the people that we are today.
Well, what I find interesting is, and I'm sure this is true for everyone, when you move through those experiences, and I'm just thinking about business experiences in the brands that we've started, of who you bring along for the journey who remains with you through those things. And we have people who we're colleagues slash friends with from all of the brands and
Beginnings, from
experiences
the
that
beginnings
we established.
together.
And we've now, especially going back to those relationships and utilizing those relationships to bring more value to what it is that we're doing right now.
And I really believe that our experience can be everybody's advantage and all of the people that we're going to bring on, because you are going to be able to minimize mistakes and maximize success. So,
Yeah. And
do you want to tell everybody a little bit? I'd like you to just, give a quick synopsis of your background. I'm going to give a quick synopsis of my background pre-meeting in March of 1991. And then we're going to talk about the really gigantic, amazing year that everything started with us to inspire others of everything that we've done through the years.
well, when I think way back in my life, I have always been experimenting, and discovery has always been a big part of my life. And I guess through that, I've taken the things that I find out about and I learn about, and being at the bleeding edge has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. And it officially pushed me into the world of technology when I was made captain of the audiovisual squad in Intermediate School 51 in Staten Island. And it was thrilling at that point to have a permanent hall pass in which I could leave and go into any classroom that I wanted to, with the excuse that I needed to set up a projector of some kind and show a film strip. If any,
So this is crazy.
I'm dating myself,
This was meant to be
so we're talking about, you know,
long time ago.
the seventh grade,
Yeah.
right? So how old are you in the seventh
Well, we were
grade?
born,
13.
we've told you all that we're 60 and 61 respectively. So that would be in the 70s. No, 60s. No, middle school, 70s,
Yeah,
early 70s,
right.
right?
Well, no, for me, no, like
10,
in the late
11.
70s, like 76, or so.
Then you were 14. So you were an AV geek. But
Yeah.
then, okay, you went to University of Delaware, you graduated with a psychology degree, and then you started to work in a suit at Bankers Trust. You knew this was not
Yeah, I
your
had to,
path.
I did what my father did, and it was an entry level job. You really didn't, I wasn't formally trained, to work, on Wall Street in a bank.
You learn on the job.
Yeah, and as most things, like unless you're a doctor or lawyer, but even then you're going to graduate school, right? You very rarely leave college and enter a job where you know what to do. You know exactly what to do. Conceptually you may know what to do, but you still have to, you learn, the job.
So
So for me, that just I knew right away that just wasn't,
your path.
yeah, what
So so
didn't fulfill.
so interestingly, when I met Robert in March of 1991, he was a video journalist. He was a videographer, is what they called it at the time, special event videographer, and he was shooting and editing social events. And I remember that distinctly. He was living in Bayonne. I was living in Manhattan. So I'm just going to give a little bit about my background, because then before you know it, we're like talking. I mean, we're together a long time, Robert. A lot of experiences and life moments that we've enjoyed together. So, and that I'm so proud of you and of us. Robert grew up in Staten Island, and we both were born in Brooklyn, but he mostly grew up in Staten Island, and I grew up in Long Island. And you're the class of 1980 of Port Richmond High School,
That's correct.
and I am a 1980 graduate of Lawrence High School. I went to Boston University School of Management. I transferred to Fashion Institute of Technology. I knew I wanted the business of fashion. I worked at Macy's retail sales. I worked in Saks as management, Saks Fifth Avenue. And then I was a buyer at Bonwit Teller. It was like my MBA of fashion merchandising and marketing. It was extraordinary experience working at Bonwood Teller. Then I kind of straddled both wholesale and retail. And my friend Marcy, that I know since 6th grade, invited me to work with her, which I didn't even know what I reflect. And that was my first entrepreneurial experience. Working with her, didn't matter what title it was just me and her. And she started a magazine, a home fashion publication, B2B, called Material Information. And I was the ad director, then publisher, and we did everything. And I loved it. She called me a pit bull, Robert. And that was a compliment. And I take it as such. It was because I was strong and I was going to get the job done. And it was an exciting adventure working together on that publication. And I'm really proud of it. But what's really cool is that identifying that as an entrepreneurial experience, not even knowing what that word meant. Here it is. You and I come home from our honeymoon, okay? We get married March 14th, 1992. What t-shirt am I wearing? What shirt am I wearing?
92.
I love this shirt because it represents us and the beginnings of us. And Robert had a business called Custom Video Productions.
That's right.
Which he quickly rebranded. Right, Robert?
That's correct.
To Absolute Video. Why don't you tell everyone why we rebranded it?
Because we wanted to be at the beginning of the Yellow Pages.
AB. And
that was my favorite drink at the time.
And it also, the word, I love words and definitions, and it meant absolute, total, complete. And Robert was offering that to his.
That was the complete package.
You were the complete. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So what's really cool is that when Robert and I came home from our honeymoon, well, what happened was Material Information ended when I came home from my honeymoon. And it's hard. Startups are hard to continue. We know that from our own journey. And Robert and I started working together, and I started marketing, doing sales and marketing and promotion for Absolute Video. Stacy, my friend, did the first logo for Absolute Video. You can see it on the website. I love it because it's a tripod.
Drew it by hand.
She's an amazing creative creator.
Back in the day when clip art was actually.
My God, she's an art director, and boy, oh boy, it's our first logo together, first of many to come. But I love that logo, and we did so many fabulous things with our first experience. But before I talk about, that was our beginning of our partnership, right? But we also rebranded you to being Robert Allen Video Journalist. Tell everyone why.
Well, in observing all of my colleagues, image makers, mostly who were photographers, and were all, really successful, were all using their name or form of their name as their brand versus, just some kind of generic company.
So I loved Absolute Video, but I love Robert Allen Video Journalist. But Robert Allen, and that, by the way, is his professional name, and it's his middle name.
Right. Rockefeller is my real name.
And Robert, isn't that funny, everybody? Robert, I know you're very modest, and you do not like to really tell everybody about your accolades, but I am going to.
Okay.
Unless you want to. Because I think it's pretty cool. You are.
Now my accolades in the boardroom. Not in the bedroom.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Not in this episode.
Right. Not in this.
Not when I'm discussing.
Right. This is the
my
professional.
bedroom accolades.
Right. We will talk about that because I think it's important to talk about sex.
It is.
Okay. Sex is important.
Yes.
So you are an award-winning event video journalist.
I am.
You were inducted into the WEVA, Wedding and Event Videography Association Hall of Fame in the 2000s.
I was.
You received the prestigious Bob Labar Vision Award, a multi-year International Creative Excellence Award winner, and for 2 years in a row, you were named in the Event DV 25, who are considered to be the most influential videographers in the field. You've been speaking on the national stage since 1996.
I must say, though, the Event DV 2025
was cool.
It was cool because they made me a baseball card. I was a collectible card.
Yeah, and you had a whole page or half a page or something in the magazine. It was really cool. So, but I'm really proud of the non-for-profits you've worked with over the years, and you've worked with the New York Police and Fire Widows and Children's Benefit Fund. Yes, you heard what I just said. That's a mouthful. And you've worked with a beautiful, wonderful organization that you call your most meaningful work, Through My Eyes. You want to tell everyone about that?
Yeah. So for about 7 years or so, I worked as the videographer for an organization called Through My Eyes, and we provided end of life biographies for people who were diagnosed with a terminal illness and also had children under the age of 21. And if they met that criteria, they qualified for a free recording. And I was the one who did those recordings, and I did over 300 of them in the time that I was with the organization. And like Holly mentioned, by far the most meaningful work that I've done, also by far the most challenging work
And
that
emotional.
I've done
And
emotionally.
emotionally. And you know what, Robert? The one thing that we will be telling everyone, because we do care about legacy in sickness and in health, is that everybody should be documenting their story. So we're going to help people. We're going to inspire people and help people do that. Okay? We're going to give them
And inspire them to do it, more
Right,
importantly.
right.
Everyone has the capability of doing it. You don't need anything more than your cell phone, really. You just need the presence of mind to sit down and do it.
And we have the right talking points to share with you on how to interview someone you want to get to know more about their life story. And recently, Robert is the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce virtual producer. I believe that we are your bridge between the pre-internet world. Yes, we know about typewriters and phones with cords. We are the bridge between the corporate world and the entrepreneurial landscape. And we really embrace everything and anything digital. So we're excited about that. So we love being in front of the screen and behind the screen. Robert is so savvy at using the tools and can help prepare others to do it as well. So that's one of his key talents. And we really do believe in old school techniques, but we really do embrace the new that's coming on the scene. So we are committed to delivering excellence. So whether you're a startup or a business or a non-for-profit or someone that just wants more to learn about personal branding and professional branding, we want you to harness the power of creativity, community, connection, and collaboration, because we know that the sum of that is happiness. We started off, we told you, our partnership began in 1992. We then launched Wedding Podcast Network in 2005, and it was the largest collection of online wedding talk radio anywhere in the world. So proud of that, Robert. Anything you want to say about Wedding Podcast Network?
Now, again, bleeding edge, creating podcasts for an audience that, was microscopic at the time, but we knew how big it was going to be. And, through Wedding Podcast Network, not only did we have over 200 episodes in the time that we did it, but we helped others launch their podcasts as well.
And we did that through our next brand, New Media Connection. And that's where we did help business strengthen their brand identity and position themselves as an authority.
And we knew at that point that, being heavily involved in the wedding world, there was a digital shift. And as we entered into the 2000s, we knew that you had to adapt to a new way of doing business. And so, again, in order to assist other wedding professionals in 2011, we launched a brand called the 21st Century Bride, which was the first of its kind hybrid event in the wedding world, where we had, I believe, about 160 attendees in person in New Jersey at a venue, and we had over 200 attendees online
Robert, 33 states and 7
7
countries.
countries, yeah. It
And
was,
20 industry experts spoke.
we designed it really in a way that the virtual attendee had a very similar experience as those who were in person. It was very important for us to deliver a true hybrid experience, and we did, and it was really wonderful. We had some good partners at the time, and it was a success, and it helped really launch us into the virtual space. It was certainly proof of concept that this was indeed the future.
And you are the creator of the 30-minute edit. So your brainchild for this event was really for the presenters to do short form sessions.
Yeah, every presentation was 15 minutes or less.
So you always said, and also in your video work, that you don't have to fast forward to the good parts
Right.
because everything was the good
Everything
parts.
was good.
And not only that, with also a 21st Century Bride, and it was a branded event and with sponsors, and it was just so amazing.
Yeah. We knew we checked off all the boxes, and we're really still very, very proud of that experience.
So then you said to me in 2018, I'm going to fast forward a little bit, and
Mhm.
you said to me, Holly, I don't want to stay on the sidelines. Why did you say that to me,
Yeah,
Robert?
so cannabis legalization was coming to New Jersey and then New York, and we knew that was happening, and we are proponents of the plant. We understand how much benefit it does bring to people, and we got heavily involved in learning about the plant and its benefits scientifically, as well as getting an understanding of the business landscape in cannabis. And we launched Canapop, which was a brand that created in-person experiences centered around CBD, which at just at the as we were launching Canapop, the Farm Bill was passed federally, and hemp in production of CBD what became federally legal. So we went full force into a non-plant touching brand and had 10 events in 13 months where we brought people in and educated them and introduced them to CBD brands and associated businesses. And they had a chance to sample the brands, to learn from brand ambassadors, to gain education, to taste CBD infused
And
foods and
entertainment and
entertainment,
massage
CBD
and
yoga
prizes,
and prizes. It was really
community at
great.
its best.
And then
We
and
pivoted
then
like no other.
yeah, and then COVID hit.
Right.
And
That's why we pivoted.
right, and so we shifted. We shifted. Canapop as we knew it
But kind of pop up, everyone should know, went
was not
online too,
happening. We
Robert.
we did go online, but we were drawn into the online space in many different ways, from fundraising events. As we said, we were involved in something called Livingston Sings, and we'll talk about that, I think, separately in another episode.
I would love to.
But we really, went full force, and we launched the at-home event brand, which was a unique online marketplace. We were bringing people together, businesses together. We were creating opportunities for makers and bakers and
So
crafters.
we had the at-home crafting gift show to support the people that couldn't be at craft shows anymore to market their goods.
Right,
We believed in health and wellness. We had the at-home wellness expo, which was also related to the cannabis community, as well as other modalities.
right.
And we had the
Wedding
at-home wedding
At-home wedding
expo,
expo,
and we
because we knew that couples, and we had a couple who was planning a wedding. We knew now they were, in the Northeast, wedding expos are very big. In New Jersey, you can go to a wedding expo every
but we
night of the
wanted
week.
to serve and support. We wanted to help others continue to be able to let others know about what they do and what they can invest in.
So we brought all of these experiences online under the at home event brand, and very, very proud of that. And for each of these things that we have done in our careers, we learn so much, and we take so much from each of those experiences and build upon them. as we move into our next big thing. So nothing is ever lost in what we do. It's all becomes part of our toolkit and our ability to create something from nothing, really is what we do.
So, Robert, I have never felt more at home than now because we are right where we are supposed to be. And it's all in readiness for you, for me, for everybody listening. We are ready
Mm-hmm.
to share the moments that are now over and everything in between that could lead to what's next. So what's next for us, Robert? What is our next big brand? What is on this screen?
Well, the brand that's been here all along, but, was never really, even though we were front and center with every brand that we birthed, the focus was never really on us. And this is on us and a reflection of where we are right now and everything that we've done, everything that we've experienced, everything that we've created, everything that we've taught has led us to this moment.
I mean, it's full circle.
Yeah.
Because it's also full circle because we're back podcasting. And I am like more excited than ever to be on air with you. Okay.
Well, then we don't have to explain to people what a podcast is.
Do you remember that on our Wedding Podcast Network site that we actually describe what a podcast is?
We had a section, right, on
Right?
what is a podcast.
So, with Holli and Robert, you have this podcast, Between Over and Next. You have our website, hollyandrobert.com. On the website, you can find out more about who we are and what we can all experience together.
If you don't have enough already. If you want more of us.
But this is our newest endeavor. And I feel that this was really meant to be. And I feel like I think about our wedding vows, as I'm wearing my 1992 shirt where our partnership really began.
Mm-hmm.
Because we took vows in sickness and in health. And I have to tell you, I love you. To have and to hold. It is a promise of unconditional acceptance. And I am so grateful to do this with you. Robert?
Yes. What? Are you going to ask me something right now?
No, I'm just going to say, what does this new endeavor mean to you? I mean,
well, it's very exciting. This is really our next chapter, and I think it's going to be the biggest chapter of all because it encompasses everything that we've done. Everything, where we've been has led us here.
So much of what we've talked about in the first couple of episodes is really just the beginning of your getting to know us and us getting to know what matters most to you. And we are grateful that you are open to whatever is coming next. And we promise you, we will have a meaningful, rewarding experience because we really care. And I'm really appreciative that you took the time to be with us today.
Yes. Thank you for listening. And thank you, Holly, for being my partner through all of this. Sometimes I forget all the things that we have done and experienced together. And when you lay it out on paper like this, it's quite an accomplishment. So thank you for being a part of that with me.
I'm proud of us and I'm proud of what's to come.
Thanks for tuning in to Between Over and Next. We hope you enjoyed this episode and found it meaningful and insightful.
If you value it to be worthwhile, please share it with your friends and family.
We would really appreciate it if you could take a moment to write a review for us. Your feedback will help us continue to create content that resonates with you.
And don't forget, in the show notes, you can find all the relevant links mentioned in this episode, from accessing free downloads to visiting our website and more.
If you have any questions or comments, we would love to hear from you. Simply send us an email. Our email address is hello@hollyandrobert.com. We're always excited to connect with our listeners.
So until next time, thank you again for joining us on Between Over and Next.
Thank you for listening to Between Over and Next, the podcast that navigates the twists and turns of life with courage, laughter, and a whole lot of inspiration. Tune in every Tuesday to hang out with Holli and Robert on your favorite podcast platform. Visit hollyandrobert.com and follow them on social media to ignite your passion and fuel your dreams.